All right, guys. So I saw this fan art right here, and I was like, you know what? This could actually sparked my mind for a story. So here we are, the Kingdom of Cold. So the Kingdom of Cold is basically having all these ice-themed characters together for basically a big event. Essentially, what is going on is that it starts out with Mr. Freeze in his lab, obviously trying to take care of Nora and making sure she's safe and all of that, and making sure she's fine. And then he suddenly feels himself getting pulled away from Nora, from his workshop, and he's like trying to reach out to Nora. He's like, "No, what is this?" And he gets yanked away. At that same time, several other people have been pulled away from their respective universes: Frozone, Iceman, Korra, Elsa, Jack Frost, the Ice King, and Sub-Zero, and Arthas. So all of these people have been brought, and Victor, of course. So these 10 heroes and villains have been brought together to a universe that basically on their Earth, it's a planet that it survives on the cold. It's a world that needs the cold to survive. But the problem is their world of ice is turning into a land of like heat, and it's dying from the inside out. So essentially what they've done is use a mixture of magic and science to bring together who they consider be champions of the frost. That's what they call them, the champions of the frost, to essentially work together to figure out how to save their world. So Korra and everyone else is obviously like, what the fuck is this? And it did, if you would think that, yeah, this did start out with a lot of fighting, but after the beings of this world tell them their blight, they're like, a lot of them are like, cool, yeah, we'll help out. Like, Iceman's in, Frozone's in, Sub-Zero, this is, Kuai Lang, not Bihan, so Kuai Lang is like, yeah, of course, I'll give you my assistance. Even Ice King's like, I'll do it if it'll get me some nice ice babes. And everyone's like, Jesus Christ. Korra, of course, wants to step in. But obviously a few people are kind of against this idea. Obviously, Arthas has no desire to help anyone and is in fact like, I'm going to kill all of you. Victor, Mr. Freeze is like, I don't want to do this. I need to get back to Nora. But yeah, the problem is that they're like, well, we need all of you to help us. So the 10 of them have to work together in order to figure out what is causing the heat death of this planet. So the 10 of them have to pull their resources. And at first, they're just, like, Iceman's the first one to go, how about we just blast it with all of our coal, with all of our ice power together? I mean, I'm an Omega level mutant, and a lot of you guys look like some serious powerhouses. Yeah, why don't we just use all of our power and just unite all of our cold together and just hit the core? And they're like, well, you could do that, yeah, like, we have found a way to get a direct line to the core, so maybe if you pull all of your power together, you just hit it. And before they do any of that, Miss Victor is like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, boy. And Victor explains that, like, he's like, he looks at the map and, like, looks at the schematics of what's going on with the planet, and he's like, yeah, this plan this boy has made is completely asinine. This is not going to work. Because even if our power combined hit the core, it's literally going to do it's going to do nothing. Because it'll only prolong the inevitable. At best, it will only delay... It'll only give this world, like, maybe 5-10 more years max before it dies off. It starts dying off again. At worst, we do nothing and maybe even disturb it to make this planet go even more critical. So it's then decided, because everyone's like, well, what do we need to do? And that's when Korra, of all people, is like, well, why don't we follow Dr. Freeze here? And he's like, it's Mr. Freeze, but I'll take Doctor. So everyone basically, like, except Arthas, who's like, I'm the Lord of the Undead, I'm the King I'm the Lord of the Scourge, you do not command me. And Victor's like, fuck you then. But everyone else basically is all like, yeah, let's go with Mr. Freeze. And even Freeze is like, why? I'm not used to this. I work alone, and also I've done some really horrible things in my universe. I'm not a superhero in my universe. And they're like, be that as it may. In fact, even Kuai Lang is like, I've heard when there was a world merge between my universe and yours, Freeze. I didn't meet you, but I know what you're... But I do know... I did see enough from Batman's files on you to know that you can't be trusted. So he... But then he eventually comes around because they all understand that Victor is the only person who really has any fucking clue with cryotechnology. So essentially, what everyone tries to do, except Arthas, who just decides I'm just going to be a dick and the main antagonist of this story because it's a world for me to it's a new world for me to conquer. But everyone else is like, yeah, we're going to construct a machine and give it all of our power, and that will we're going to use our combined power to generate a machine. That we'll construct a machine and generate and flow all of our power through it, and that will stop the core from from overheating the planet. However, Arthas tries to sabotage it and also starts killing and resurrecting people in order to turn them into new members, new undead warriors for him to control, new Lich. But for him, everyone else is just on board with teaming up for the time. Even Victor, who's like, yeah, if this gets me back to Nora, then I'll do whatever it takes to fight, I'll fight whoever I have to in order to get through this. So everyone's fighting each other, and eventually, Victor is the one who actually uses the machine. But but there is a bit of a drawback, because it's not like they can't just fire it into the tunnel these people have made in their planet. It's like they have to deposit the weapon, send it down the tube, and fire it directly into the core. And while several, Jack and Elsa are like, we can go, we can maybe survive this. Even Iceman's like, I got thrown into the sun once, and I lived through that. But Mr. Freeze is like, true, but none of you know how to... Do any of you primates know how to handle a machine this complex? No? Then I'll go. Yeah, and I wanted to have a fun scene where Korra's talking, learning this technology from him, and she's like, "Where'd you learn to do all this?" And he's like, "I made this to kill Batman once." Oh, so yes, Mr. Freeze goes down to the core, and fires the machine. However, it starts to overheat, even though it's working. He's working tirelessly to keep the machine from blowing up. But it's inevitably failing just so it can just freeze, cool the core again. However, Ice King and Korra arrive, grab Mr. Freeze just as it's about to go critical, explodes, and the core is cooled down. So, yeah, by the end of it, everyone is sent back to their respective universes, and Mr. Freeze has, a new appreciation for life at the end of it. So there you go, guys. That is a quick little story of the Kingdom of the Cold. You guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of it? Just comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.